Welcome to the video. So what you can see in front of you is what happened after a bit of a crash. So what we're going to do first is remove the wheel. As you can see, I've sped this up for everybody's convenience. So you can see the old hub there, so we're just going to remove that. In fact, this is the other hub which isn't broken, because there's no point doing both for you. So there's a little nut, so we needed to hold it at both ends to stop it from spinning out. Just make sure you look after your nuts and bolts, so I tend to thread them together for safety. Just going to pop the drive shaft out. It's always a good idea to make sure they're straight, sometimes they're worth replacing, but this one's okay. Just removing the two retaining screws here and then popping the pin through. I'm using a couple of little plastic spacers which are identical to both sides, just to keep it centered. So the best way to remove this is by putting it into the wheel, so you can loosen the little grub screw that's in the middle. Make sure you keep that safe. So you can see I'm just removing the bearings. Sometimes you have to be a bit rough because they get a bit stuck. Hammering doesn't normally do too much harm, as long as you're not hammering into the bearing and just onto the frame, although I'm sure there's a more gentle way of doing it if you are able. Okay, now that we've removed those, we're just going to clean those bearings. It's always a good idea to check them at this moment just to make sure they spin freely. And now we're just going to slot them into the new hub. They should click nicely into place. As I said, if they are a bit worn and damaged, then it's a good idea to replace them, but give a nice little spin just to make sure it's all good. And then you just need to reassemble the hub back together before we try inserting it back. So there'll be a couple of little pins to hold it in place. That's a little grub, and again you want to use the wheel just as a little frame for getting this on nice and tight. Good little trick I learned there. Now just to get the pin ready again, and then get your little spacers if you use them. It just gets rid of any slop in your hub. Oh, it's going to start the camera off, don't worry about that. So just going to get that in there, and then the other one on the other side. So I've got them quite tight. Just make sure you've got it identical on both sides. Sometimes you need to give it a little bit of a push. And then just refit the two retaining screws back on the end. Just have another quick look at this drive shaft. Yeah, looks okay. Give it a quick little scrub on the corners. It's not often I take those apart. Give things a bit of a scrape. Sometimes you get a bit of mud stuck. So just pop that back in. Just going to loosen one of the linkages here. It's on the rod ends really, because I'm going to need to do a little bit of work with that. So I'm just going to screw a little, put this one of these little retaining screws through it, because what we're going to do is hammer this pin so that we can get this little this thing out. And as you're about to see, I'm just going to hammer onto the end there, and it should pop the little ball out. And there you go. And now I'm going to hammer this one, the new one, back in, and it came with the hub carrier anyway, so it's just so it's compatible and it can screw into the metal. So let's find something stable, give it a little gentle hammering, and it'll go in. So just screw that back in, get a bit more comfortable, and now we're just going to link it back up to the hub carrier. So we're nearly done now. Now you'll notice the hub carrier's got three little screw holes at the top, and that can change the angle of your wheel. So you've got your effectively it's your camber. So I go for the middle one. It gives me a nice little aggressive look, but the extremes are either flat or a bit too aggressive for me. And we're nearly there now. That's nice and tight now. Didn't like that one, so I'm just going to change the position of it. Yeah, I'm going to wait for the middle one this time. There you go, all done. And there you go, nice strong aluminium hubs, hopefully never to break again for as long as we all live. Thanks for watching everyone, and please subscribe. Thanks.